Now for our top story. Gunshots, blood on the streets and total chaos. The highlight of events as elections take place in Ayawaso, West Wuogon, here in Accra. Now the vote is to find a successor to Emmanuel Chermanten-Jakong, who died in November last year. 4 candidates from the NDC, the NPP, the PPP and the LPG are in the race. Now the elections are ongoing, but this morning's violence has led to some injuries. Now the NDC puts the casualty number at 8, but there's not been confirmation of those figures yet. Officials at the Wuogon hospital rather say they've received 6 victims, one of whom is in critical condition. We have this and many other interactions with all of those who were either affected or witnessed the violence. First, let's take a look at how things unfolded.
JoyNews.
Hey, everybody, leave out!
Sam George, what happened?
No exchange words. Very cool. You there? Why this one of days?
Someone has been shot though. He said he has been killed or something.
Are you sure that's what he said?
Yeah, he just said the boy was missing.
You kill a man in his own house. That's fine. I should what?
Those are just some of the images of chaos from the Ayawaso West Wuogon by-election. Now, is this a sign of things to come next year when general elections are to take place? Well, these and many more questions will be answered here on The Pulse. Right now, though, our exclusive interviews with those victims at the hospital.
Scores of NDC supporters are gathered here at the Wuogon hospital. We've been speaking to the administrator of the health facility, Eric Gazy, who says that officially they've received 7 people. 6 of them are actually in a stable condition right now at the health facility. 1 of them has been transferred to the 37 military hospital because of his condition. But just when we stepped out, we saw more people arriving here to receive treatment. We saw about 5 men in blood-stained clothes who have been narrating to us exactly what happened to them. One of them said they were at the residence of the parliamentary candidate for the area when some gunmen stormed the house and started attacking them with their gun stock. They say that they were also tasered.
We went to MP's house. Then they brought food, so we are taking the food from the car, vehicle to the house. We are there, the visiting forces came there. They say, what are you doing here? They say, wear the uniform with the dress black, and then they say T's, I, something. So they come with a gun. They say, what are we people doing there? They say, oh, why? We there with MP's house. They say, they for search all of us. They for search all of us. So they started searching. When they search finish, no, they say, oh, before move from there. I say, where we for move, go where? Here be the MP's house. Before move, go where? No, they started beating ice, using the gun. Pushing us all over, giving warning shooting people. They shoot one of our guys in leg, one of in hand, and then one of that is a certain man to that what to be like. They shock in here. It's not small. Very terrible. Very terrible. Very, very terrible. They hit me with a gun. They hit me with a gun.
From your head?
They hit me with a gun. With a gun. They hit me with a gun.
Wow. Have you received any treatment? Because
no. We are not in the hospital.
With blood.
We are not in the hospital. We are not in the hospital. So.
So what is it? You were just in the MP's house?
We are just in the MP's house. Not the voting center. No. We haven't went there at all. MP's house. They came there. There was about 60, 70 people. When they came there, they just came with a gun and then they started asking a question. What people are doing here? What people are doing here? They say, we did with MP's house. They say, no, you should move. After moving, they said, search everybody. Then they started searching all of us. When the search finished, they couldn't go and start nothing. Or they started, brutalized. So
Right, some of the injured people from this morning's fracas. They're speaking to our very own Maxwell Agbagba, who happens to be right here. Maxwell, good to see you.
Good to see you, Kojo.
Right then, so you spoke to quite a number of people at the hospital. What else did you learn?
Yeah, we had a lot of the NDC sympathizers, they're coming to visit, the people who are injured. There, we also saw the parliamentary candidate himself, Delali Kwesi Brempong, who came there with quite under heavy, security to come and visit the people who've been hospitalized, there. He described the incidents, as barbaric. We can hear from him now.
Make of the happenings. Let's start off from how it happened.
Really, I was at home when the incident happened, but what I've been told is that some armored cars, about 8 of them were trying to enter, and surround my house, and some boys were at the gate. Whatever happened or did not happen, they started shooting at them. I didn't really believe the incident, so I decided to come to Wuogon Hospital, and I have seen 15 wounded men in University of Ghana Hospital. My only comment is that this is barbaric. It doesn't fit 21st century, let alone when Ghana is supposed to have a president who is a lawyer. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Well, there we go. Delali Brimpong obviously not happy with what happened.
Exactly.
What else did you learn today?
Yeah, so the figures that have been, going around, there have been various reports, some even reporting, deaths, there. When we spoke to the hospital administrator, at the time that we spoke to him, that was sometime around 11 a.m., he told us that 7 people were brought to the hospital. 1 was rushed to the 37 military hospital because he was in a critical, condition. He didn't confirm any deaths to us. He said no one has died at the time that we were there. But when we came out, that was a point when we saw quite a number of people also reporting, at the hospital for to receive treatment. So official figure at 7, as we're told, us at 11 a.m. But it could be more by the close of the day. Yeah.
Did we learn the nature of the injuries of the person in critical condition?
Well, the administrator couldn't confirm whether the injuries were consistent with bullet wounds. He says they would have to do some MRIs and X-rays before they would be able to determine that. But when we interacted with the victims themselves, they told us that they were hit with the butt of a gun. They tell us that when the people came in, then they started, hitting them without any provocation. As you heard one of them state that they were there to take food so that they can distribute to their polling agents, on the ground. Just around that time, that was when the attack happened. Also that the chairman of the NDC actually announced that they are pulling out of the elections and advised their polling agents not to be at the polling centers. A lot of the places we visited on the University of Ghana campus and outside the University of Ghana campus, we did not find any NDC polling agents, on the ground. At the University of Ghana itself, where we visited about 5 polling centers there, the turnout was low, and this was confirmed by the presiding officers, at the various polling stations, and they say that is because the students have not, school is still on recess. A lot of them are expected to report, tomorrow. So that has also affected voter turnout. Another reason they also give is that in the 2012 election, those who they registered in the last registration exercise, some of them have completed. So really, it will be difficult to get them to move from their homes to come and vote at that constituency. Yeah.
Right. Maxwell Agbogba, thank you so much. There's more to learn. Our colleague Kwesi Parker-Wilson has been in Bawaleshie where the incident happened, and he joins us on the line right now. Parker, good afternoon. Hello, Parker. Right, let's seek to reconnect on a clearer line with Kwesi Parker-Wilson so we can learn a little bit more about what happened this morning at the Bawaleshie JHS. But while we're waiting, Maxwell Agbogba also caught up with the NPP chairman, Freddie Blay, and asked him for his opinion on the incident.
The process been like for you?
Well, a little slow, I can see, but today is a working day. I believe that it will pick up. And in the circumstance of what had earlier on happened, the impression was created of chaos in some other places. But from reliable sources and from the way I've gone around, nothing is happening that is untoward in the various polling stations out of the 138. I understand that some little violence took place in some areas or some area, not part of the polling station. And this caused the NDC to withdraw from the polling. But I'm not surprised. Earlier on, even before the time they've gone to court, earlier on, even before the time they've given an impression that they don't want people to be involved in the election, they gave an impression that chaos was going. And then we hear that a lot of people were bused from Tamale, gathered some with weapons, unlicensed weapons. I can't even imagine what will happen. Why and what prompted that kind of, it's meant maybe to cause mayhem. Not that there will be impression created that there was chaos in this one single by-election.
We're at the Wuogon hospital, and the allegation, flying around is that the people who attacked the NDC supporters were actually NP people. Some have described them as the invincible forces.
The security people are investigating it. I think they will come out with whatever. I don't want to. I'm MPP chairman. I don't want to create an impression contrary to what you will see.
But are they from your
camp? Were they in on near a police station? Were they gathered somewhere else with weapons? What were they doing?
You mean the NDC? You mean NDC people were attacked?
No, yes. I can't be sure that anybody was attacked. Okay. But there were, I'm told that there was some fight somehow. So I wouldn't be in a position to confirm or deny.
But NDC is claiming that the invisible forces attacked them.
I don't believe that. I don't believe that. I don't believe that. Right? Okay. No, please let him ask any question he wants to ask.
Okay. So what would you say to them now?
To who?
What do you say to the NDC, to the NPP supporters?
I said, look, this is an election. This country, we've come a long way in our democratic dispensation. This is the only one by-election. I've been involved in quite a number of by-elections. Talensi, I was even attacked, assaulted. But it didn't stop the election from going on. We participated. And the police, the security forces kept the peace for all of us. The result, we didn't challenge the result, irrespective of what went on. Now, how do you bring a Zuka boy from Tamale to come and disrupt the election? The police have an obligation to ensure that everything goes somewhere.
That was the information you got that they brought a soccer boys.
That's what I'm saying, that's the information I had. Unless you had any other information to the contrary. But so far as I've come around, everything is going on peacefully. You yourself have seen. And I've only come to see what is happening. Going around to make sure that things observation, I want to observe, things are going on peacefully, unless you have some evidence to the contrary.
NPP Chairman Freddie Wasimeuble speaking to Maxwell Agbagba. Now, let's connect again to Kwesi Parker Wilson, who's on the phone. Kwesi, good afternoon. Right, if you can hear me, tell us first of all, what's the situation at Bawaleshie? I believe we've lost Kwesi Parker Wilson. Forgive us, we will reconnect with him and bring you that conversation with the latest update from the site of the shooting early today. Now, on the ground, there were reactions from NDC Chairman Samuel Ofosu-Ampofo and NPP General Secretary John Buedu. First, Samuel Ofosu-Ampofo, who announced the withdrawal of the NDC from the race.
Ladies and gentlemen of the media, you are all here and you have witnessed the bizarre situation we find ourselves in. Our candidate is almost held hostage, and ever since the voting started, the candidate has not been able to move out of his residence. His residence was attacked. Our agents and some of our boys have been shot at. I have just returned from the Wuogon hospital where 6 of our boys, who are party agents and some of them accredited observers, were shot at. Some of them have broken bones. Some of them are seriously injured. And as I speak to you now, they are preparing to move 2 of the injured persons to the 37 military hospital. That should tell you the extent of the damage. We have observed that in elections like this, the Ghana Police Service are supposed to deploy and provide security. Contrary to that, we have seen people in attire of national security, almost 10 at every polling station. And what they are doing, shooting indiscriminately, attacking people and intimidating people. Nobody has been killed. Please, you cannot move out. We have weighed the situation. Some of the people, including our sitting member of parliament, Honorable Sam George, has been attacked. There is serious intimidation. And as a party, we believe in rule of law. We have been in by-elections before, and we don't think that we are in a war zone. But this by-election has been turned into a war zone. We are peaceful, loving people, and we are law-abiding party. We cannot subject any of our members to danger because of elections. in the circumstances, I have conferred with the parliamentary candidate and the leadership of the NDC. We have no option than to withdraw from the ongoing exercise. We are therefore using this opportunity to direct all party agents at various polling stations to withdraw and report at the Center for Conflict Resolution, CENCO, which is at, yes, we want them to report there for further directives. The NDC has officially withdrawn from the by-election for security reasons, intimidation by invisible forces who have been given national security uniforms and who are intimidating, shooting, and maiming people. That is the position that we have taken. And we have the support of our parliamentary candidate who thinks that his own life is not safe and cannot even move out of his house. If the parliamentary candidate cannot move out of his house, then we see no reason why anybody at all should kill himself because of this by-election. The NDC has officially withdrawn from the by-election. Thank you.
No, Chairman, you say he's under house arrest. Why is he under house arrest?
If shooting has taken place and people and about 6 people are now in hospital, some of them in critical condition, I don't think that a parliamentary candidate will be willing to continue this exercise again. We are going to the hospital with the parliamentary candidate to take care of the injured.
Election like this, you have 1 or 2 skirmishes like this. I don't think that this should be heightened, said that it will create an impression that there's insecurity. No, there's not.
But there are allegations that some security operatives here are working for your party, Invisible Forces. Those are
these are worn out and outdated allegations that does not help anybody. I don't work with national security. National security have the right to pick anybody to provide them with information to work for them. This is the right of national security. How can I know? How can I know? I don't work for national security. I have my own internal security. As I was coming, these are people that I came with. I don't work for national security.
Comfortable with some of the policemen who have masked themselves in an environment which is not like it's a sweep on a crime scene.
I think that I don't think I can dictate to the police as to the apparel they should put on. Depending on their own intelligence on the ground, they determine how to dress. And I don't think that if you've not done anything, if you are not coming to cause any commotion, you should be afraid of any police mask in anything. You are all here. Why don't you run away because the police has masks? Put on masks? No, I don't think it's so. They have their. Let us allow the security agency to do their work.
So far, looking at the situation, what do you tell your people?
I'm just telling them that the situation is calm. Everybody should. You see, there's the impression that opponents want to create in order to scare people from coming to vote. Other than that, what's the problem? Somebody wants to come and vote, is a voter, come around, vote and go home. But our brothers and sisters from the other side always will want to create confusion. When they are in government, when they are in government, it's worse. Even when they are the opposition, that is more difficult.
So are you saying?
Now, following this, the NDC and the NPP held news conferences.
This is the second time they are rehearsing what they practice, because during the referendum in Oti, you and I witnessed what happened.
God will help some people the way they have to know happened to us. So you beg National Chairman, Mr. Ampofo, Isedeketua, and Mr. the Deputy Secretary, Otokuno, you beg them, you just wake up. They should not let this 2020 vote. They should not pray. Other than that, they go take the Banku powder in my bag, put them in my mouth.
Who is the security agency? Didn't you see the video of them attacking St. George? And did you see policemen running away?
We started getting calls of intimidation and attacks on our party agents and our party national monitoring officers. As we speak to you now, Honorable St. George had been beaten up mercilessly and is wounded and I understand he's been sent to hospital. I just spoke with him, and he indicated to me that the butts of guns were used to hit him, and that the video is there for you to see. This morning, the parliamentary candidate of the NDC, Honorable Delali Kwesi Brimpon's house, was invaded by agents of national security, invisible forces, and other people who were armed to their teeth. They shot indiscriminately, and in the process, we have evidence here to show you AK-47 bullets, which we collected, please. And pistol bullets, which we collected.
We'll call our party supporters to calm down.
Today,
we are not cowards.
Today,
tell them that we are not cowards.
Today, as you have seen, our party supporters are angry and want to stage a reprisal attack. But we are appealing to all our supporters and sympathizers not to undertake any reprisal attack. We are calling on all our party supporters to remain calm. A delegation from here will go to the Electoral Commission office and the IGP office to offer our formal protest to them as we continue. Thank you.
The party's leaders are begging. You can see the director of communication, Asami Jemfi, still asking that we resume our seat because they've been able to get the party's internal security that came into the premises. The conference room a short while ago. They are trying to get them out to enable the press conference to continue. So there's a call for the security men to exit there. So the chairman has taken his seat once again. Very soon we'll be handing you back to the podium for the press conference to resume because the party has been successful in getting out the people who besieged at the conference room and made it very difficult for the news conference to go on.
Two of our people were in very critical condition. If you see the blood that was oozing at the hospital and the scattered bones and the wounded people, you'll be amazed that this is happening in Ghana, a democratic country like Ghana. Therefore, together with myself, the regional chairman and others, and our senior comrade, Honorable Totobi Kwache, visited the house of our parliamentary candidates. I should tell you that it took us a hell before we could even go in. The parliamentary candidate was almost under house arrest. Security on the compound in front and even at the hall. I went and saw a traumatized parliamentary candidate who was even afraid to step out of his own house. And as I speak to you now, he has not been able to step out of his house. We consulted with him. And he said that, I don't want people, innocent people, to lose their life and shed blood because of this by-election. So in the circumstance, he's not even interested to even move and go and vote. We reviewed the situation and having calls from several other parts of the constituency, and the attacks that our agents and intimidation they were subjecting to, we had no other option than to recall our party agents from the various police stations because we cannot guarantee their security. The democracy we have all fought is under siege. Today is a very sad day for democracy, and the NDC as a party cannot and will not be part of this exercise. Therefore, we are asking our agents to withdraw. Thank you very much.
NDC chairman speaking there. Now, in a short while, we'll speak to Codeo on what they make of the entire process so far. But right now, let's speak to Sam George, who suffered some attack at the scene of the confusion this morning. Mr. Sam George, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Professor. How are you?
Well, I am assuming I'm a bit better than you because I saw that video and they didn't go easy on you.
Well, I'm alive and thankful to God for life.
Now, tell me, what are the extents of your injuries following that that altercation?
I'm pretty okay. Few cuts here and then little swelling from where I think I was hit a couple of times with a baton, but pretty much okay.
Now, one of the first accounts of what had transpired came from you, in addition to the journalists who were on the scene. And there's been a lot made of your Facebook post where you described what had happened, and you actually said that you had been shot at several times. So many people are questioning that. What exactly happened? Were you shot at?
Roger, I believe that some of your colleagues were present at the scene. In fact, I know that your colleague, Roland Walker, I saw him. He actually tried to have an interview with me minutes before the whole altercation started. And if you speak to him, I'm sure he will corroborate what I said. I stated clearly in my post that several rounds of ammunition were fired at me. I made this post whilst the attack was still ongoing. And so you must bear in mind the circumstances. Whilst I was crouching and hiding from bullets being fired, shots being fired, I was crouched in a corner of the building with a reporter from City FM. I'm sure if you ask Roland Walker, I'm sure he was also hiding somewhere, because the bullets were all over the place. They were flying all over the place.
Right.
So for those who want to deal with the semantics of was he shot at or were the bullets shot around him, let's ask ourselves, what did we have today, or what were we scheduled to have today? World War III or a civil war? Or simply a by-election?
Right.
Who was being attacked? A member of parliament who was not armed. I held no arm, I held no stick. On what basis was I attacked? Why were shots fired? That should be what we are interrogating. Were gunshots fired? If there were no gunshots fired, and I put out that gunshots were fired, I would admit then that, I may have misled the public. But were gunshots fired? I believe that if we play the Joy TV footage, you would hear the gunshots as they were ringing and echoing. Several rounds. We actually went round and picked the shell cases, which I gave to the party chairman, and the party chairman showed the shell cases, AK-47 and 9mm shell cases, in our press conference. So it's not a question at all in anybody's mind if shots were fired. Shots were fired.
So how do you respond to the NPP communication, their communication, the spokesperson, Yabuabinga Samoa, who says, well, you made this up, you were not shot at, and he actually seeks to place the blame on the NDC, suggesting that this is just perhaps something that you put together to aid you in your withdrawal from this by-election?
I think we do this, but you see, I hate the hypocrisy and dishonesty that is creeping into our politics. Then Yawabi Asamoah is somebody I know personally. He shouldn't do this. But let me remind Yawabi Asamoah that when he was picked up in 2014 by members of the BNI for reckless comments he had made, and he wet himself in the police car, nobody shot at him. Even at that, he was not a member of parliament. He was just a citizen who had gone to make reckless comments. When he was picked up by the BNI, simply arrested, we all saw the mess he created on himself, how he was crying for his wife. Today, he has the gusto, because of political power, to sit and say that this was made up. I put men in a police SWAT vehicle. I gave them AK-47. I gave them 9mm and asked them to come and shoot around me. I must be very powerful. Yawabi Asamoah should listen to himself and allow his legal wisdom and education guide him, not partisan politics. That's all I will say to him. But you see, for those who want to play with this, the question being asked now is, Sam George, why did you go to the election unprepared? Kojo, what preparation would you want an election party monitor to have for an election? A pen and a paper. That's all the preparation that is needed. But I'm being asked this question because people expected me to have groups of armed men around me. Groups of armed men. My failure to do that, people are asking me why I didn't prepare well. Do we want our politics to get there, where we would all now start preparing well for a by-election? We would arm young men and go out and be like a banana republic and have guns blazing? Is that what elections are about?
Well, your party has recently outdoored two of such groups, Lions and Eagles, something like that. What's the purpose of those groups?
What group?
Your party has recently outdoored two of such groups of young men. The Hawks and the Lions or something like that.
I'm aware of the Hawks. And as far as I'm aware, the Hawks are an internal party security unit that we use as internal party function. So when we had our regional election, the Hawks were present to provide internal party security. When we had our national congress and the trade fair, the Hawks were present. Today, on the ground, a national election, did you see the Hawks anywhere? Your cameras were there. Did you see anybody with the Hawks t-shirt anywhere? No, because we're a law-abiding political party.
Okay, let's...
nowhere today. So, you see, Kojo, let us not try to create a level playing field where there is none. The party has the right to have its internal party security that takes care of internal party elections. But I dare anybody to show me footage of NDC Hawks on the field today. No, we put our trust in the police service and they have failed abysmally. Let no one blame the NDC going forward.
A police report. Well, you said in the morning that you would make a police report. Do you have any confidence that the police will be able to uncover the culprits, the people who attacked you?
Well, Kojo, after reviewing the incidents that have happened and even looking at the video that your media house put out, I've not been encouraged to go into the police. There were several armed policemen in the vicinity when the assault on me was happening. In fact, one of the policemen is seen on the video helping to pick a phone or something that belongs to one of the attackers. So you could tell where the police sympathies lie. Again, the police has huge questions to answer. If they don't answer those questions, I can't trust them to bring justice in this case. I've heard the director of operations of the Ghana Police Service say that his men do not wear masks, and no policeman was put in any vehicle with a mask. Kojo, you've seen the footage, you've seen the pictures. The guys were in police vehicles. They were in a SWAT special purpose vehicle, an armored personnel carrier belonging to with which had a Ghana police insignia embossed largely on it, with SWAT police written on it. The question I'm asking is, if the police service cannot protect their own SWAT vehicles, and their vehicles can be stolen, because that's what I can only assume, that since those people, the director of operations, who is in charge of operations, says that his men were not wearing masks, who were those men in their masks in police vehicles? Did they steal the police vehicles? Or did the police loan them out to them? In other jurisdictions, we've heard that the police used to rent their rifles to armed robbers to go and carry operations. Is the police renting out their special purpose vehicles and SWAT vehicles to hoodlums and criminals? Is that what is going on? A police service that cannot even guarantee my security as a member of parliament whilst I was standing in their presence. It's not just the police. There were army officers there, armed, with their G3s and AK-47. They stood aside. Even in the video, you will see a member of the immigration service holding his hat and running away. You expect me to go to that police service? Under whose leadership? Appear to?
Well, you're a lawmaker, and that's what the law says, that if you're assaulted, you should report it to the police.
I'm taking a lead from a leading member of the NPP and a very close friend of the president, who is commander-in-chief of the armed force, Mr. Kennedy Ejiofor. He says he doesn't trust the Ghana Police Service under David Asante Apietu.
You now agree with Mr. Kennedy Ejiofor?
If the crocodile comes from the bottom of the sea to tell you that the tilapia is sick, you had best believe it. So if the president's own bosom friend and a leading member of the NPP says that he doesn't trust the Asante Apietu-led Ghana Police Service, you expect me in the opposition to put my trust in them?
So you agree with Kennedy Ejiofor, the police cannot be trusted?
Well, today's happenings give credence to what he's saying, that the police cannot even take care of their own SPV, right. That the police is giving their APCs they're renting their APCs out to hoodlums.
Right. Now, your party has withdrawn from this competition, this election, and I asked you earlier whether you agree with this. You said, well, since the party has made the decision, you will abide by it. But we're receiving reports that the candidate is still encouraging polling agents to stay at post because the election is not over. Where do you stand with this? You obviously, at the beginning of the day, were working to help the candidate in his bid. So where do you stand now?
Kojo, everybody from a parliamentary candidate to the flag bearer, once you're running on the ticket of the NDC, that is the vehicle you run with. We are all subservient to the decision of the umbrella. I said to you this morning, and I repeat, so long as the party has taken the decision to boycott and pull out of that election, I stand by that decision. I've heard my national chairman say that that decision was taken in consultation with the candidate and the national leadership of the party. I've heard His Excellency John Dramani Mahama say that he's truncating his Volta region tour to return to Accra. I have seen the minority leader of Parliament, my leader in Parliament, Honorable Haruna Idrisu, leave Parliament to go and visit our comrades and colleagues who are injured and in the hospital. That is the mood of the party. The party will not endorse the illegality of a by-election that's going on. And I stand by the party's position.
Okay, so you're a member of parliament, and well, we've seen in the past Ghanaian citizens who have asked members of parliament to shut up if they don't know what they're talking about, have been pulled before the Privileges Committee. You were pushed and slapped. Is anybody going to be brought before the Privileges Committee on this matter?
I'm consulting with my parliamentary leadership on it. We will see what steps we will take going forward.
What would be your preference?
The Minister for Interior has questions to ask.
You would take this up with the Minister?
The Minister for Interior, the Minister for Interior, the Minister for National Security, Mr. Albert Kandapa, and the National Security Coordinator. Those men wore shirts that bore your office's or your outfit's insignia, NSC. You know the men you put on the field. I have thrown a challenge to the National Security Apparatus. If you're really open to investigating this, if you say you don't know the men, line up the men, do a parade of the men who you put on duty today. And I, Sam George, will point out the people who carried out the assault. If the National Security is really ready to set an example of discipline among their ranks, if the actions of these hoodlums was not sanctioned by the Minister for National Security and National Security Coordinator, and we are hearing Director of Operations or whatever at the Office of the President, if they didn't sanction this, they know the men they put on duty today. I mean, such operations, you have a full roster and duty call of the men who have been on operation. I've worked in the Office of the President before, and so we know how these things happen. When men are going out on operation, you have the details of everybody who is going out. Call a parade of all those men. Let them line up, and we will point out all the men who carried out extrajudicial actions today. I'm challenging them. If they are open to it, they should do it. But if they cannot do it, it will be clear testimony of the official cover-up because they sent the boys to misbehave.
Now, the chairman of your party in the press conference assured party members that you would retaliate. What do you think that means? What exactly will the NDC do in retaliation?
Well, once my chairman has spoken, watch this space. It's not for me to take the wind out of my chairman and give an indication of where the party will go. Watch this space. That's all I'll say. After the details, I will not take the wind out of my chairman's sails.
Are you aware of a plan to retaliate? Even if you can't share the details? Very well. Sam George, thank you very much for speaking to us. And if you require medical attention, I hope that you receive it. Thank you very much for your time. Now, let's speak to Kwesi Parker Wilson. He's been in Bawaleshie where the incident happened. He's been there since morning. Hopefully, we have a clear line with him now. Kwesi, first of all, tell us, what has the situation become in Bawaleshie?
Well, let me say that with the by-election, I've been around several polling stations, and the situation is very calm. Just that the turnout has been quite low. Many of the voters have not turned up to vote as expected by the Electoral Commission. But of course, they're still hopeful that maybe around or thereabout, the voters will trip to various polling stations and cast their ballot for their respective candidates. But where I am currently, I am at the residence, the private residence of the NDC parliamentary candidate, that is Dalali Brimpong now. A while ago, just about an hour ago, let me be specific, he ordered the party agents who had assembled in his premises to go back to the polling station to monitor the process to ensure that indeed the NDC are getting the right vote that they are supposed to get. And again, no minor or an individual who doesn't vote within the constituency will take advantage of the situation and go and cast their ballot. But interestingly, the party agents who were present at the time declined to the request, the order. In fact, the argument we are making is that there has been a decision from the national executive, and they're making reference to the chairman of the party, that is the Samuel Fosampofu, that all the party agents at the various polling stations should pull up. And so they cannot, and I repeat, they said they cannot flout the rules and the directives by the national chairman. So what he is saying, they are not going to abide by it. Again, it doesn't really, there's no right for him to order them to go back to the police station, because when it happens like that, there will be a counter order which conflicts the position of the party, which they don't want to really adhere to. And then he himself said, fine, if you don't want to go, then I am going to vote. Just then, the party members and the internal security members who were present in his premises at the time quickly barricaded the gate and were emphatic that they are not going to allow him move past that, meaning they won't allow him go and vote. So the parliamentary candidate had wanted to convince them, to prevail on them, to appreciate his point. That, he wants to vote. So if they're not going to man the process, he will go and vote, but the people deny. In fact, eventually, the other party members, he was encouraging them that, fine, if they are not, the party agents are not going to man the polling station or go to the polling station to monitor the process, the other party members who were there, he was pleading with them to go and vote. Within a short period, we saw the national organizer of the party, that is Joshua Kamba, walked into the press. And my source tells me that he had actually ordered the parliamentary candidate to go and vote. The parliamentary candidate was compelled to place a call to the national executive. For whoever he called, I cannot confirm and verify. But I am told by my source that he placed the call to the national executive, and they again asked him not to move an inch. And from the reaction of Joshua Kamba, he wasn't too happy with the situation. So he said that he was leaving. But at the end of the day, whatever that happened, well, the party should be blamed for whatever that happened. And so the parliamentary candidate, as we speak, had attempted at a time to move out and go and cast his ballot, but the people prevented him. So as we speak at the moment, he is still locked up in his private residence. I can confirm again that the police, the military, all here protecting him. But aside the fact that some thought that his decision to go and cast his ballot were not inconsistent with the directive by the national chairman, some are also saying that, well, they don't know what will happen to him when he leaves his premises because of what had happened earlier. And so it is that desire that he will stay at home and not move out. Because if he moves, they can't guarantee his security. And that is why they have gathered here at his presence to give him the maximum security that he deserves or needs. And that is why they don't want him to move away. So that is the current situation here at Bawaleshie, the private residence of the NDC parliamentary candidate.
Kwesi Parker-Wilson, thank you very much for that update. We'll be back for more as the day wanes on. But now, let's hear from the NPP's Director of Communication, Yao Boabinga Samwa, who has also been speaking at a news conference earlier, and this is what he wanted the world to know.
I am not responsible for security on the ground. The security agencies, I believe, are well represented on the ground. This is a by-election. It's one constituency. So there ought not to be any difficulty about maintaining law and order. The difficulty I find is that I believe it's premeditated. It is orchestrated. And therefore, incidents are being blown out of proportion.
Which
in that case,
premeditated? The decision to withdraw all the violence.
All of it. All of it.
The violence.
The violence. There has been demonstrated violence. We've seen some incidents of violence on videos that are all of a sudden circulating internationally, worldwide. But did they explain the source of the violence? We are informed, as I just stated, that there was an engagement with some thugs who were camped right behind the candidates, the NDC candidate's house. Instead of engaging the police in a civil manner, they chose to exchange gunshots with the police. This was not at a police. Yes, that is what we are told.
Okay. And they are linked to the NDC, you are told?
Because that is where they were found, right close to the candidates. That is what we are told. And having fired, they engaged the security. And that incident happened not at a polling station. It has to be very clear. There are 137 polling stations. That incident did not happen at a polling station. Now, thereafter, the orchestration then comes. Previously, the NDC...
Will you be ready to draw the attention of the security agencies to this allegation you are just making?
I am telling you.
That thugs linked to the NDC first fired gunshots?
Please.
Will you be ready and
that is the information we have. I have given you that information. What happens to it is you are also media. What I'm telling you is that we believe it is orchestrated. And the orchestration arises from the series of incidents. The NDC's threat to pull out because there was a bloated register. Coming from its highest levels, pull out on what basis? They said the register was bloated. As at this morning, they were unable to tell us by what number. Officials of the NDC were saying 2,000, 1,500, 1,200, and several other figures, which shows that their allegation of a bloated register did not exist. As at 8:30, let me explain the orchestration. As at 8:30, NDC agents had not been deployed effectively in several areas in the constituency, in the field. And yet, an incident like this happens, and within a short time, the NDC chairman of Ayawaso West Wuogon tells the whole world that 4 people are dead without seeing the dead bodies. Other officials of the NDC come out and say 2 are dead, 1 is dead, 3 are dead, and otherwise. Then their chairman comes out to say that nobody is dead. We ascertained from the hospital that yes, wounded had been brought in, but nobody is dead. Then the chairman in the field tells the whole world that because of these incidents and because people are dead, he's withdrawing from the election. Was there a meeting? We don't know. So if there wasn't a meeting and the chairman had the audacity to withdraw from the election based on an off-polling station incident, then it is clear that that decision may have been taken beforehand. So we believe that there was a premeditated attempt to mess Sam George.
We've seen videos of him being...
It's regrettable that he's been hit by bullets. By bullets. Did he complain that he had been beaten or he was shot at? I am quoting Sam George's reference. I am not condoning violence. We have condemned all violence in this matter. But I am quoting from Sam George's Facebook page. Sam George didn't allege on his Facebook page that he had been assaulted. He said he had been shot at several times. And I have condemned all. I have condemned all. I have condemned all violence.
So what should happen?
I have condemned all violence. Sam George can report himself to any security person and have redress. I have condemned all violence. The NPP does not condone violence in any form.
So
anybody who is my people, anybody in this election, my people are not violent. Anybody who is found to be violent in this election must be dealt with according to law. It's as simple as that. I don't have people. I have people who want peace. I have people who are prepared to vote. I have people who are credible. I have people who are preserving the integrity of this election. I don't have people who pretend that there is violence when there is none. I don't have people who tell the whole world that they've been shot several times only to find out that they don't have. I don't know.
Who have attacked them and attacked
Sam George on his Facebook page says that
they are not MPP thugs.
Is Sam George dead? Is Sam George dead?
I'm referring to the attack.
I don't know about the attack. Sam George says he's been shot severally. Sam George says he's been shot severally. That is what I'm saying. Sam George in a Facebook page says he's been shot. Am I correct? Have you read the Facebook page? He says he's been shot severally. Have you ever seen a person being shot? Do you know the state of a person who is shot once or twice or 3 times? And Sam George has been shot severally. He's still on his feet. He has the energy and the capacity to write Facebook posts. I believe that it is not fair to the integrity of this country. I believe that this country deserves better. I believe that leadership from a group who have led this country before, not just once in this democratic dispensation, but severally. And indeed, overall, when you count the number of years the NDC has led this nation and their tradition, it's far more than any other political grouping. And this is the group that has the audacity to damage the integrity of this country on flimsy, very, very flimsy allegations, and to tell the whole world that things that are happening are not happening. This is the kind of group we are contending with.
Yabuabeya Samwa is the communications director for the NPP. Right, there's more to come. Let's take a very quick break, but don't go far, because there's even more on The Pulse after these.